Our next story is from the Philippines. An assassination plot has alarmed the nation. The target is the president, Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr. Now, this would be alarming on its own, knowing that the president's life is under threat. But what's worse is the plotter. It's his own vice president, Sara Duterte, the daughter of former President Rodrigo Duterte, and the person who will succeed Marcos if he dies. Yes, the vice president of the Philippines has threatened to assassinate the president. And she said this publicly during a press conference on Saturday. She was addressing a question about her own safety. And she said, and I quote, "Don't worry about my security because I've talked with somebody. I said, if I'm killed, you'll kill BBM, Liza Araneta, and Martin Romualdez. No joke, no joke." This is what she said. Now, BBM stands for Bongbong Marcos, BBM. He often goes by his initials. Liza Araneta is his wife and the First Lady. And Martin Romualdez is the Speaker of the House of Representatives in the Philippines. He's also the president's first cousin. Now, the feud between the Duterte and Marcos families is an old one, but this is a new low. Marcos is not taking the threat lying down. He addressed the Philippines today and he vowed to fight the threat.
It's worrying, the statements that we heard from the past days. There are numerous expletives and threats, plans to assassinate some of us. That criminal plot should not be allowed to pass. I'll fight it.
So how did it come to this? How is the vice president openly making threats against the president and his family? Let me give you some background. The Marcos and Duterte families are major political dynasties in the Philippines. President Marcos' father was also president. In fact, he ruled the country for 21 years. He was considered a dictator. Marcos Sr. was eventually ousted. He fled to the US and he died there in 1989. So his family, including Marcos Jr., became political pariahs for a while. But they slowly returned to politics. Bongbong Marcos Jr. became a provincial governor in 1998. He joined the lower house of Congress in 2007 and then became a senator in 2010. His sister, Amy Marcos, is a senator. His son, Ferdinand Sandro Marcos III, is a congressman. It's a classic case of dynastic politics. And that is the Marcos clan for you. On the other side, you have the Dutertes. Rodrigo Duterte was the previous president of the Philippines. He served from 2016 to 2022. His daughter, Sara, is the current vice president, the one who issued the threat. One of our brothers is a congressman. Another is the mayor of Davao City, the family's home turf. So it's another strong political dynasty. These two clans, Marcos and Duterte, came together in the last election. They contested together in 2022. Bongbong Marcos for president, Sara Duterte for vice president. It was understood that Sara would succeed Bongbong Marcos in the next election in 2028 because Bongbong cannot be president again. In the Philippines, you have only one term, 1 6-year term. Hence the alliance between these dynasties to keep power between themselves. The partnership was widely successful. They blew away the competition in the 2022 presidential election. It looked like nothing could stop them. But then cracks started to appear. They had differences over China. The Dutertes were seen as soft on China, especially when it came to Beijing's bogus territorial claims in the West Philippine Sea. Former President Rodrigo Duterte reportedly had a gentleman's agreement with Chinese President Xi Jinping. But Marcos Jr., the current president, has taken a different approach. He's outspoken about China's land grabbing. And he has increased cooperation with the US, bringing in more American troops to help defend the Philippines. That's one problem area. Another point of contention is the drug war. Rodrigo Duterte started it as president. He mobilized the so-called death squads to kill drug dealers. These were extrajudicial killings. Duterte said they were necessary. But now he's being investigated for them, both by the Filipino police and the International Criminal Court, or the ICC. As president, he rejected the ICC, but the Marcos administration says they will cooperate with the International Court. That's problem number two. Then we have Sara Duterte. She too is under investigation for corruption, for misusing public funds. In fact, she was being asked about this probe and whether she faced any security threats. And that is when she said she had made arrangements to assassinate President Marcos. And she has told the assassin, and I'm quoting again, "If I die, don't stop until you've killed them." This is how the whole situation unfolded. Two political dynasties join hands to come to power and are now at each other's throats. The Marcos clan will make the next move. Sara Duterte might even end up in jail. And then the Dutertes will hit back. So it seems that this feud will definitely get worse.
Agencies in the country raised safety measures and dubbed it a national concern. And what's more, on Monday, the president vowed to fight back against what he called reckless and troubling threats. Let's break it all down for you. Speaking during a morning press briefing, Duterte reportedly said that she had spoken to an assassin and instructed him to kill the president, his wife, and the House of Representatives Speaker if she were to be killed first. Before making what is being called a brazen threat in a broadcast on her official Facebook page, Duterte said, and I'm quoting here, "This country is going to hell because we are led by a person who does not know how to be a president and who is a liar," quote unquote. Not just that, she warned that her alleged threats are no joke. And now, in response to this, the president of the Philippines has reportedly said that he will fight the vice president's criminal plot to have him killed, quote unquote. Reports suggesting the national police and the military immediately boosted the security of the president in a matter which is now being considered a national security concern. The law and order authorities in the Philippines are now investigating the matter closely, which could have consequences for the vice president if proven true, involving prosecution if Duterte's claims are found to be evidence-backed.
It's worrying, the statements that we heard from the past days. There are numerous expletives and threats and plans to assassinate some of us.
But how exactly did things even reach this point? How did they get this far? According to reports, Duterte, who is the daughter of the country's former president, Rodrigo Duterte, had previously accused President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. of incompetence. Not just that, Duterte had also said that she imagined killing the
Vice President Sara Duterte said the president would be assassinated if she herself were killed. The feud between the top leaders of the country escalated after Ms. Duterte's resignation from the Marcos cabinet and allegations on her misuse of public funds surfaced. Cherry Regalado has more.
Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. has addressed the comments made by his former ally, Vice President Sara Duterte. On Saturday, the Vice President said she had spoken to an assassin and instructed him to kill the President, his wife, and House Speaker Martin Romualdez if she were killed. President Marcos said in a recorded video and without naming Ms. Duterte that he's alarmed by the threats made against him and others.
Kakabahala ang mga pahayag na narinig natin nitong mga nakarang araw.
Sinabi ko sa kanya, kapag pinatay ako, patayin mo si BBM, si Lisa Araneta, at si Martin Romualdez. No joke. No joke. Nagbilin na ako, ma'am. Pag namatay ako, sabi ko, huwag ka tumigil hanggang hindi mo mapatay sila. And then he said yes.